you ever find yourself caught in a relentless eddy of worry, a quiet anxiety that hums beneath the surface of your daily life, even when everything outwardly seems fine? Perhaps it's the sheer weight of global headlines, the uncertainty of economic shifts, the relentless march of technological change, or simply the gnawing sensation that the ground beneath our feet feels less stable than it once did. We live in an age defined by hyperconnectivity, yet often plagued by profound isolation, an era of unprecedented progress, yet shadowed by deep-seated fears for the future, for our loved ones, for the very planet we inhabit. The digital age, with its constant deluge of information and urgent alerts, can leave us feeling not just informed, but utterly overwhelmed, adrift in a sea of questions without anchors. We scroll, we consume, we internalize, and often we find ourselves searching for anything that offers a genuine sense of calm, a solid foundation in an ever-shifting landscape. Now, imagine stepping back, not just decades, but over 600 years into a world almost unimaginably different from our own. Picture a time before modern medicine, before global communication, before the comforts and certainties we now take for granted. This was a 14th century Europe reeling from catastrophe. An invisible, merciless killer, the Black Death, swept across continents like a scythe, indiscriminately claiming millions upon millions of lives. Villages were decimated, families torn apart, entire communities vanished. The social fabric unraveled, economic systems collapsed, and even the deepest foundations of religious faith were shaken to their core by such overwhelming, inexplicable suffering. In this crucible of fear, loss, and profound existential dread lived a remarkable woman named Julian of Norwich. She was not a queen, nor a warrior, nor a powerful political figure. Julian was an English mystic, a contemplative soul who, in response to a profound spiritual calling and a severe illness that brought her to the brink of death, chose a life of extreme solitude. She became an anchoress, immuring herself in a small, simple cell, physically attached to the wall of St. Julian's Church in Norwich. From this vantage point, isolated from the bustling, plague-ridden streets, yet deeply connected to the human experience through the visitors who would come to her window for counsel and prayer, she bore witness to unimaginable suffering. She saw the despair, the grief, the pervasive sense of a world gone terribly wrong. Yet, it was from within this crucible of isolation, profound uncertainty, and an environment steeped in suffering that Julian experienced a series of 21 intense, vivid divine visions. These were not mere dreams or fleeting thoughts, but profound spiritual encounters that unfolded over a single night, indelibly stamping themselves upon her consciousness. For decades afterward, she meditated on their meaning, seeking to understand the radical message they conveyed. The result was Revelations of Divine Love, believed to be the first book written in English by a woman, a testament born of intense personal experience and decades of profound contemplation. And within this extraordinary work, she gifted humanity a message so profoundly hopeful, so counterintuitive to the suffering of her age, and yet so desperately needed in our own, that it resonates with astonishing power through the centuries. Her most famous, most audacious, and arguably most revolutionary declaration, articulated in the face of overwhelming despair and human fragility, was this: all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Just absorb that for a moment. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. How could she, a woman who had lived through the very abyss of human suffering, who had witnessed the pervasive destruction of life and hope, utter such a radical statement of unwavering optimism? What was the source of this incredible, seemingly impossible peace? And more critically, what does this ancient, 600-year-old secret mean for us today? For you, as you grapple with your own distinct, yet equally daunting, challenges in a world that often feels fractured and frightening. In this series, we will embark on a profound journey into the extraordinary life and timeless wisdom of Julian of Norwich. We will meticulously unpack the layers of her divine revelations, exploring the context of her world, the depth of her spiritual insights, and the practical, transformative implications of her message for our modern lives. This isn't just a historical curiosity, it's an urgent invitation. Her ancient words are not merely a comforting platitude or a saccharine promise. They represent a powerful, transformative antidote to modern stress, anxiety, and despair. Julian offers a unique pathway to an inner peace that truly transcends understanding, a deep assurance that can anchor you even when the world around you seems to be spinning out of control. Stay with us. Prepare to uncover a truth that has patiently waited 6 centuries to bring profound solace, courage, and unwavering hope directly to your heart, changing not just how you see the world, but how you experience your very existence. Hello and welcome. There are some books that simply find you at just the right moment, arriving like a gentle hand on your shoulder when you most need guidance. For me, one such revelation came in the unlikely form of a medieval mystic, a woman whose profound wisdom has quietly reshaped my understanding of life, love, and what it truly means to be human. Her name was Julian of Norwich. Imagine for a moment the world Julian inhabited. It was 14th century England, a time of immense turmoil and transformation. The Black Death had swept through Europe, wiping out vast swaths of the population, leaving behind widespread grief, fear, and profound existential questions about God's presence and humanity's suffering. Against this backdrop of plague, social upheaval, and deep spiritual anxiety, a woman known only to us as Julian lived a quiet life of contemplative devotion. We don't know much about her early life, but what we do know is that in May of 1373, at the age of 30 and critically ill, she experienced a series of intense visions, 16 showings or revelations of divine love. Miraculously, she recovered from her illness and spent the next decades of her life meditating deeply on these visions, wrestling with their meaning, and eventually committing them to parchment. Her resulting work, Revelations of Divine Love, is not only the first book known to be written by a woman in the English language, but also one of the most tender, hopeful, and revolutionary theological texts ever penned. For years, I'd encountered snippets of Julian's most famous line, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." It always struck me as beautiful, a comforting thought, but I didn't truly understand the depth and radical nature of that assurance until a particular period in my own life. It was a time marked by a creeping sense of spiritual disillusionment, a profound questioning of meaning amidst personal challenges and the overwhelming anxieties of the modern world. I found myself feeling adrift, searching for an anchor, for a voice that could speak to the soul's deepest longings without resorting to platitudes or rigid dogma. And then I stumbled upon Julian's full revelations. It wasn't just a book, it was a lifeline. Reading her words, transcribed centuries ago in an age so different from our own, felt like listening to a trusted friend who understood the very core of my unspoken fears and doubts. She didn't shy away from the reality of suffering or sin, but she viewed them through an astonishingly radical lens of unconditional, unyielding divine love. Her perspective wasn't about judgment or fear, it was about embrace, about a God who is closer to us than our own soul, who sees our failures as opportunities for growth, and who holds us in an eternal, tender gaze. Her message didn't just offer comfort, it offered a complete reframing of reality, a new way to perceive adversity, grace, and our own inherent worth. It brought a profound sense of peace and a renewed sense of purpose that I hadn't realized I was so desperately craving. That personal transformation, that rediscovery of hope, is precisely why I feel so compelled to share Julian's wisdom with you today. This isn't going to be an academic lecture, though we'll certainly touch on the historical and theological significance of her work. Instead, consider this a shared exploration, an invitation to journey with me through Julian's luminous visions and discover how her insights can illuminate our own paths in the 21st century. Over the course of this video series, we're going to dive deep into 6 core themes that emerge repeatedly from Julian's revelations, ideas that resonate powerfully even now, offering profound comfort and practical wisdom for navigating our complex lives. We'll explore her revolutionary understanding of God as Mother, the true nature of sin and redemption, the significance of the little thing, the size of a hazelnut, the power of prayer, the meaning of suffering, and of course, the radical hope encapsulated in her iconic message, "All shall be well." My intention throughout this journey is to humanize these incredibly profound spiritual ideas, to peel back the layers of medieval language and theological complexity, and make Julian's timeless wisdom accessible, relatable, and deeply impactful for our lives today. We'll look at how her radical vision of love can offer solace in times of anxiety, provide strength in the face of uncertainty, and inspire us to cultivate a deeper sense of connection, both within ourselves and with the world around us. So, whether you're grappling with spiritual questions, seeking comfort, or simply curious about a remarkable woman who defied the conventions of her time to offer a message of extraordinary hope, I invite you to settle in. Let's embark on this shared adventure, opening our hearts and minds to the gentle yet revolutionary voice of Julian of Norwich, and together discover why her ancient revelations matter more than ever right now. Welcome to Revelations of Divine Love, a journey into the profound and comforting insights of Julian of Norwich. In our very first chapter, we encounter what is perhaps her most iconic and enduring vision, the universe in a hazelnut. It's a moment of profound simplicity, yet one that encapsulates the vastness of divine love and the inherent value of all creation. Julian, in her humble cell, was granted a glimpse into the very heart of existence, a vision so potent it continues to resonate with us today, centuries later. Imagine Julian, in one of her intense spiritual experiences, being shown something small, humble, yet utterly essential. She describes it thus, "And in this he showed me a little thing, the quantity of a hazelnut, and it was round as any ball. I looked thereupon with the eye of my understanding, and thought, what may this be? And it was answered generally thus, it is all that is made." Take a moment to truly visualize this. The vastness of creation, stars, galaxies, mountains, oceans, every living creature, every human being, every thought, every emotion compressed into the size of a tiny hazelnut, held not precariously, but securely in the palm of God's hand. It's an image of incredible intimacy and cosmic scale simultaneously. From this singular image, Julian draws three fundamental truths, a trinity of divine principles that underpin all existence. She states, in this little thing I saw three properties. The first is that God made it, the second is that God loves it, and the third is that God keeps it. Let's unpack these. God made it. This isn't just a statement of creationism in a historical sense. It's a declaration of divine origin, a reminder that everything, from the grandest galaxy to the smallest particle, is an intentional act of love. It means nothing is accidental, nothing is superfluous. Every atom, every being owes its very existence to this benevolent source. It speaks to an inherent order, a profound purpose woven into the fabric of reality. God loves it. This is perhaps the most revolutionary and comforting of Julian's insights. It's not just that creation happened, it is loved, unconditionally, infinitely. This love isn't earned, it's intrinsic to its being. Imagine this applying to you right now. You are not merely a creation, you are a beloved creation. Your existence is cherished. This truth shatters any notion of unworthiness or cosmic indifference. And finally, God keeps it. This speaks to divine providence, to a continuous act of sustenance. It implies protection, preservation, and eternal care. The hazelnut, representing all creation, is not just made and loved, but actively held. It cannot fall out of existence, cannot be lost. It is perpetually sustained by the same love that brought it into being. This isn't a passive guardianship, it's an active, ongoing embrace. This ancient vision, centuries old, speaks with startling relevance to our modern lives. In an age often characterized by distraction and the pursuit of the extraordinary, Julian's hazelnut invites us into a profound practice of mindfulness. It teaches us to find the sacred not just in grand cathedrals or dramatic revelations, but in the ordinary, the small, the seemingly insignificant. It's about pausing, observing a single leaf, a dewdrop, the intricate pattern on a stone, and recognizing the same divine hand, the same divine love, the same divine keeping in these everyday wonders. It's about cultivating an awareness that transforms the mundane into the miraculous, reminding us that every moment, every object, every breath is imbued with divine presence. And what profound solace this vision offers in a world that can often make us feel small, insignificant, or utterly alone. How often do we grapple with feelings of unworthiness, of being mere specks in a vast, indifferent universe? Julian's hazelnut directly confronts this existential dread. If all creation, from the largest star to the smallest human heart, is made, loved, and kept by God, then our own inherent value is undeniable. We are not just participants in existence, we are cherished participants. This vision grants us immense security. The fear of being lost, forgotten, or abandoned dissolves in the face of such profound, unwavering care. When Julian saw that it is all that is made, and that it lasts and ever shall, she wasn't just observing the physical world, she was apprehending the eternal embrace that holds all things. Our struggles, our anxieties, our perceived failings, they do not sever us from this divine keeping. We are held always. This understanding fosters an inner peace, a deep-seated assurance that no matter the external storms, our core being is safe, loved, and sustained. It allows us to face life's uncertainties with a quiet strength, knowing that the same love that created the universe cradles us, individually and collectively, in its eternal palm. The hazelnut vision, deceptively simple, is a cornerstone of Julian's theology of radical hope and comfort. It's a call to see, truly see, the divine in the ordinary, and to recognize our own irreplaceable place within that divinely cherished tapestry. It reminds us that our worth is not something we earn, but something we are given by the very nature of our existence, a gift from the God who made us, loves us, and keeps us. As we move forward, carry this image with you, the universe, yourself included, held tenderly, securely in the palm of divine love. Welcome to Chapter 2, the radical idea of God as Mother. If there's one aspect of Julian of Norwich's theology that truly sets her apart, even today, it's her profound and tender vision of God, and specifically Jesus, embodying the unconditional, nurturing qualities of a mother. This isn't just a gentle metaphor. For Julian, it was a revealed truth, fundamental to understanding divine love. To grasp just how groundbreaking this was, we need to transport ourselves back to the 14th century, a time when theological discourse was rigidly defined and often patriarchal. The prevailing image of God in medieval Christianity was overwhelmingly masculine: God the Father, the omnipotent King, the righteous judge, often perceived as distant and demanding. Even the Holy Spirit, while a source of grace, was rarely invoked in traditionally feminine terms. To suggest that the divine could be understood through the lens of motherhood, with all its connotations of tenderness, vulnerability, and sustained physical intimacy, was not merely unconventional. It was nothing short of revolutionary, bordering on what some contemporaries might have considered heretical. Julian, however, dared to articulate a divine feminine principle at the very heart of the Godhead, presenting Jesus, our Redeemer, as our true mother. This was not a casual poetic flourish. For Julian, it was a fundamental truth revealed through direct vision, challenging centuries of male-dominated theological language and imagery. Its power endures precisely because it speaks to a deep, universal human need for unconditional love, care, and intimacy that transcends rigid gender roles and offers a comforting alternative to a purely punitive or distant deity, making the divine accessible in a profoundly personal way. Julian doesn't shy away from detailing this maternal aspect with exquisite detail and deep feeling. She saw it clearly, felt it deeply within her soul, and expressed it with an almost visceral tenderness that resonates across the centuries. She wrote, "The mother can give her child suck of her milk, but our precious mother Jesus, he can feed us with himself, and does, most courteously and tenderly, with the blessed sacrament, that is the precious food of true life." Here, Jesus isn't just a distant Savior who sacrificed once. He is intimately and continuously involved in our spiritual nourishment, literally sustaining us with his very being through the Eucharist. It's an image of profound, ongoing self-sacrifice, unwavering provision, and the most intimate communion imaginable, far surpassing any earthly mother's care. She continues, describing the breadth and depth of this divine motherly care in terms that are both simple and profound. The mother's service is nearest, readiest, and surest. Nearest, for it is most natural; readiest, for it is most loving; and surest, for it is most truthful. This captures the essence of a mother's constant presence, her immediate, instinctual response to a child's needs, and the unbreakable bond of trust that defines the relationship. Julian emphasizes that this mother love is never-ending, writing that the kind, loving mother that wills to have her child whole will not allow that her child perish, but if it fall, she will comfort it and pick it up. This speaks directly to our most primal fears of failure, of falling from grace, of spiritual abandonment. Julian assures us that our Divine Mother Jesus will always be there, not to judge or condemn our stumble, but to comfort, to lift us up, and to restore us with unfailing patience. This is a mother who never gives up on her child, no matter how many times they stumble or stray. For many, the traditional, often exclusively masculine portrayal of God as a stern, demanding father has, regrettably, fostered deep spiritual wounds. It has instilled fear, perpetuated guilt, and created a pervasive sense of perpetual unworthiness, leading countless individuals to feel alienated from their faith, always striving for an impossible perfection to appease a seemingly distant or judgmental patriarch. Julian's vision offers a powerful, healing antidote. By framing God, especially Jesus, as our nurturing mother, she provides an imagery that can profoundly soothe these wounds. It replaces fear with deep security, paralyzing guilt with unconditional acceptance, and spiritual distance with profound intimacy. This maternal God doesn't wait for us to earn love. She offers it freely, lavishly, and unconditionally, just as a mother loves her child simply for being. This radically shifts our perception of divine power from an authoritarian force to a boundless source of tender compassion, inexhaustible mercy, and restorative grace. It invites us into a relationship founded on unwavering trust, not on paralyzing terror or constant performance. This exploration of divine love as inherently nurturing, merciful, and intimate is perhaps Julian's most transformative and enduring gift. It teaches us that God's love isn't merely an abstract theological concept to be intellectually grasped from afar, but a dynamic, lived experience, deeply personal and profoundly tender, available to all. It's a love that physically holds us in our spiritual infancy, comforts us in our sorrow, delights in our joy, and patiently guides us through our deepest struggles, always with a mother's gentle hand. It is merciful in its profound understanding of our human frailty, always offering forgiveness, healing, and a clear path back to wholeness. And it is intimate because it knows us better than we know ourselves, seeing beyond our superficial imperfections and failures to the pure, beloved essence of who we are, created in divine likeness. Julian's God as mother is not just a daring theological statement, it's a heartfelt invitation to experience God as the safest, most loving, and most intimately present presence imaginable, a boundless source of endless comfort and unwavering care, reminding us that we are always held, cherished, and nourished in the embrace of divine, maternal love. We all know that feeling, don't we? That familiar, heavy cloak of guilt and shame that descends when we make a mistake, when we fall short of our own ideals, or worse, when we believe we've transgressed some divine law. For centuries and even into our modern age, the concept of sin has been intertwined with judgment, punishment, and the terrifying prospect of a wrathful God meticulously tallying our errors. It's a burden that many carry, creating a chasm between who we are and who we feel we should be, leading to cycles of self-condemnation and a sense of unworthiness. But what if this deeply ingrained perspective is, in some fundamental way, a misunderstanding? What if the divine gaze is not one of accusation, but of profound, unwavering compassion? This is precisely the revolutionary insight that Julian of Norwich offers us in her revelations of divine love. She dares us to look at sin and failure through an entirely new lens, one that is breathtaking in its generosity and hope. Julian's most astonishing claim, perhaps the very heart of her theology, is that in all her visions, she saw no blame in God's gaze towards humanity. Think about that for a moment. No blame. Not even for our most grievous errors, our deepest betrayals, our most persistent shortcomings. Instead, What she perceived was an infinite understanding, a boundless tenderness. God doesn't see our failings as defiant acts demanding retribution, but as painful experiences for us, His beloved children. It's as if a loving parent watches their child stumble and fall, not with anger at their clumsiness, but with immediate concern for their hurt and an overwhelming desire to pick them up, dust them off, and comfort them. God sees our underlying intention, our ultimate desire for good, even when our actions diverge from it. He remembers our will, our true self that seeks to unite with Him, even amidst our struggles. This leads us to another of Julian's profoundly challenging, yet ultimately liberating, concepts that sin is necessary. Now, let's be very clear, this isn't to say that God desires us to sin, or that sin is inherently good. Far from it. Julian herself emphasizes the pain and sorrow that sin causes, both for us and for God. Rather, sin is necessary in the sense that it is an unavoidable part of our human journey, and crucially, it serves as the very occasion through which God can demonstrate His limitless love, mercy, and power to redeem. Without our failings, without our recognition of our own inherent weakness and our constant need for grace, how could we truly appreciate the magnitude of God's forgiveness and His unwavering desire for our salvation? It is through our experience of falling short that we learn humility. It is in confronting our own limitations that we are driven back to our source, our divine sustainer. Our sins, which seem to separate us from God, paradoxically become the very means by which we come to know Him more deeply, more intimately as the all-merciful and all-loving parent. Julian calls sin a blessed failing not because it's good in itself, but because it's the pathway to greater wisdom, deeper compassion for others, and a profound realization of our absolute dependence on divine love. It shatters our illusions of self-sufficiency and opens us to receive the healing power of grace. So, how does this transformative perspective change our everyday lives, especially our relationship with ourselves? Julian invites us to radically reframe our personal failures. Instead of spiraling into self-condemnation when we make a mistake, she encourages us to meet ourselves with compassion, with the same tenderness that God extends to us. When you stumble, when you say the wrong thing, when you fail to live up to your own expectations, instead of lashing out at yourself, pause. Acknowledge the pain of the error, but then remember Julian's vision. See yourself as God sees you, a beloved child, momentarily lost or hurting, deserving not of scorn, but of understanding, healing, and guidance. This isn't about excusing bad behavior or avoiding responsibility. It's about transforming the punitive cycle of guilt into a pathway for growth. It's about recognizing that every failure, when met with compassion and a desire to learn, can be a profound teaching moment. It's an opportunity to lean into God's love, to experience His cleansing grace, and to emerge stronger, humbler, and more empathetic. Julian of Norwich offers us a spiritual liberation, inviting us to shed the heavy weight of centuries of judgment and step into a relationship with God defined by unconditional love, profound understanding, and endless mercy. It is a new perspective on sin and failure that doesn't diminish their reality but utterly transforms their meaning, turning moments of perceived defeat into opportunities for deeper connection, greater wisdom, and ultimately, enduring joy. Welcome to Chapter 4, where we delve into arguably the most profound and comforting statement in Julian of Norwich's revelations of divine love, a phrase that has resonated through centuries and offered solace to countless souls: all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. These are not mere words of comfort, they are a profound revelation born from a crucible of intense suffering and deep contemplation. Imagine Julian, an anchoress in 14th century England, a time ravaged by the Black Death, political upheaval, and constant warfare. She herself was gravely ill, at the brink of death, when she received her series of powerful showings or visions. She contemplated not only her own physical pain and the widespread human suffering around her, but also the agonizing passion of Christ, the mystery of sin, and the eternal destiny of humanity. It was within this context of profound and often overwhelming suffering, both personal and universal, that this message of ultimate well-being was given to her. This isn't a detached academic pronouncement, it's a deeply felt, divinely infused truth offered precisely when things seemed most dire, a glimmer of light piercing the deepest darkness. It is absolutely crucial to understand what this famous phrase is not. In our modern language, all shall be well can sometimes be misinterpreted as a form of toxic positivity, a saccharine call to simply look on the bright side, to ignore our pain, or to pretend that everything is perfect right now. Nothing could be further from Julian's intended meaning, nor from the profound spiritual wisdom embedded in her revelation. Julian is emphatically not suggesting that everything is perfectly fine in our immediate experience. She doesn't diminish the very real grief, the searing pain of loss, the debilitating grip of illness, or the chilling reality of injustice that we encounter both personally and globally. To interpret her words as such would be to strip them of their radical power and to deny the very human experience she so deeply acknowledged. Instead, all shall be well is a profound statement of radical trust. It's a declaration, an assurance anchored not in the superficial appearances of the world, but in the unwavering, boundless love of God. It's a trust that, despite all evidence to the contrary, despite the chaos, brokenness, and sorrow that pervade our lives, there is a loving cosmic order that ultimately, deeply, and unequivocally prevails. This phrase points to an ultimate truth, a final culmination, a divine resolution, rather than a present state of perfection. The emphasis lies on the shall be, signifying a promise for the future, a telos, an ultimate goal or purpose towards which all creation is moving under the benevolent gaze of its creator. It speaks to a divine intention for wholeness and healing that transcends the immediate moment. So, how do we reconcile this radical trust with the undeniable, visceral experience of pain, grief, trauma, and injustice that defines so much of human existence? Julian herself, through her visions, was intimately acquainted with suffering. Her revelations did not magically erase the reality of human anguish, but rather provided a deeper framework for understanding it. This trust does not demand that we deny our tears, suppress our legitimate sorrow, or become indifferent to the suffering of others. In fact, it empowers us to fully embrace and acknowledge these realities. When we face profound loss, when we witness unspeakable acts of injustice, when we wrestle with our own deep-seated anxieties or the pervasive suffering in the world, all shall be well isn't a command to stop feeling those things. Quite the opposite. It functions as an underlying current, a deep and immovable foundation that supports us through the tempest. It allows us to experience the full, raw spectrum of human emotion, including despair, anger, and heartbreak, without being utterly consumed or losing our spiritual moorings. We are free to mourn deeply, to protest fiercely against injustice, to sit with profound sorrow, all while holding the quiet, persistent, and unshakable conviction that, in God's ultimate design, love will indeed have the last word. This trust doesn't bypass our reality, it penetrates it, offering a deeper perspective on how our pain is held and ultimately transformed within the divine narrative. It's the belief that even in the midst of the darkest night, dawn is not just a possibility, but a certainty woven into the very fabric of existence. Julian's vision, therefore, serves as a profound and essential anchor of hope. It doesn't deny the violent waves, the howling wind, or the treacherous currents of life's storms. It doesn't pretend that the storm isn't raging, or that our boat isn't being tossed about, but it keeps our vessel from being utterly shipwrecked or lost at sea. It helps us lift our gaze beyond the immediate, chaotic horizon of suffering to a larger, more encompassing and ultimately benevolent reality, a reality where God's love is not merely an abstract concept, but the very tangible and active force that undergirds and sustains all creation, perpetually moving it towards its intended good. It's an invitation to cultivate a deeper perception, one that looks past the immediate, the transient, and the apparent, to the eternal, the true, and the ultimately salvific. It's a trust that proclaims, even when things seem to be irrevocably falling apart, even when the pieces of our lives and our world refuse to make sense, there is an ultimate divine hand guiding, an infinite love sustaining, and a profound purpose unfolding. Julian's message is a monumental act of faith, a spiritual compass pointing us towards an unwavering truth that divine love ultimately embraces, redeems, and transforms all suffering, bringing about a profound and lasting well-being that surpasses all understanding. It is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit when immersed in divine love, offering not an answer that magically removes suffering, but an assurance that deeply transcends it, offering steadfast comfort and enduring peace in every circumstance. Do you ever find yourself gazing into the middle distance, perhaps at the end of a long day or in the quiet hours of the night, feeling a deep, inarticulate yearning? It's a sensation many of us recognize, a profound spiritual restlessness, a persistent sense that there's something more just beyond the grasp of our daily lives, our achievements, or even our most cherished relationships. It's that subtle, yet undeniable ache that whispers of an unfulfilled quest, a search for a meaning deeper than the surface of existence, a satisfaction that no material possession, no fleeting pleasure, and no worldly success seems capable of truly quenching. This isn't a fleeting fancy or a sign of ungratefulness for what we have. It is a fundamental human experience, a universal resonance that echoes through the corridors of every soul. For many, this feeling can be unsettling, even a source of quiet anxiety. We might wonder, am I doing something wrong? Am I perpetually dissatisfied? Is there a flaw in my spiritual makeup that prevents me from feeling complete? These questions can lead us down paths of self-doubt, making us believe that our inability to find ultimate contentment is a personal failing, a spiritual deficiency that sets us apart from those who seem to possess a more serene faith. But Julian of Norwich, with her extraordinary clarity and compassionate insight, offers us a profoundly comforting and utterly revolutionary understanding of this very experience. She teaches us to reframe this deep longing entirely. Far from being a flaw or a deficiency, Julian reveals that this spiritual emptiness, this persistent wanting more, is not a sign of our personal failing, but a sacred, intentional thirst placed within us by God Himself. It is a divine mechanism, a holy homing beacon embedded at the core of our being, designed with exquisite precision to draw us ever closer to the very source of all fulfillment. Imagine this yearning as God's gentle, yet persistent, hand reaching into the deepest part of your soul, stirring an undeniable, intrinsic desire for Him. This isn't something we generate, it's something divinely implanted, a God-given capacity to seek and to receive. Julian assures us that this longing is proof of God's active presence within us, continually calling us into deeper communion. It's not that you are failing to find God, it's that God is actively cultivating a space within you, a holy hunger that only He can satisfy. Your capacity to long for God is in itself a testament to God's love and His prior desire for you. It's not a personal failing that you still seek. It's a divine success that you are capable of seeking, that your heart is attuned to the divine melody, even if you can't always articulate the song. And what about those periods that often plunge us into particular despair, those seasons commonly known as spiritual dryness? These are times when prayer feels hollow, when God seems distant, when the yearning you once felt as a hopeful pull now manifests more like an agonizing absence. We often interpret these moments as signs of spiritual regression, or worse, divine abandonment. We might chastise ourselves for not having enough faith, for not praying hard enough, for not feeling God's presence. Julian, however, invites us to reframe these moments entirely, to see them not as deficits but as profound opportunities for growth. She suggests that rather than being a sign that God has withdrawn, these periods are, in fact, an essential and often intense part of our spiritual deepening. It is precisely in these moments of perceived emptiness, when our usual spiritual comforts are withdrawn, that our capacity for the divine is truly expanded. Our spiritual roots stretch further, seeking water in unseen depths, anchoring themselves more firmly in the hidden soil of grace. Think of it as God preparing the ground for an even richer harvest within you, creating a deeper, wider well to hold a more abundant measure of His presence. This dryness is not the absence of God, it is often a quiet, profound cultivation, a refining fire that purifies our desire, detaching it from lesser satisfactions and focusing it solely on Him. It teaches us to seek God, not for what we feel from Him, but for who He is, cultivating a robust faith that endures beyond emotional peaks and valleys. So how then are we to respond to this sacred thirst, to these profound promptings within us? Julian encourages us to honor it, to cherish it, and most importantly, to recognize it for what it truly is, a holy and purposeful part of our unique spiritual journey. Do not shy away from your longing. Do not attempt to stifle it with distractions, to fill it with inadequate substitutes, or to dismiss it as mere childish idealism. Instead, Julian calls us to lean into it, to acknowledge it as the authentic voice of God within you, tenderly yet persistently calling you home. Allow your spiritual searching to be your compass, your guide, knowing that every step taken in this earnest quest is a response not just to your own desire, but to God's prior, unwavering initiation. This longing is not a deficiency to be overcome, it is a precious gift to be embraced. It is a constant, living reminder of our true homeland, of our divine origin, and an unbreakable assurance that we are utterly loved, relentlessly sought after, and ultimately destined for a profound, joyful union with the divine. Embrace your sacred thirst, for it is the very signature of God's relentless love, an indelible mark etched onto the canvas of your soul, drawing you into the fullness of His presence. where every longing finds its eternal satisfaction. Welcome back to our journey through the profound wisdom of Julian of Norwich. In this chapter, we delve into one of her most pivotal and comforting visions, the parable of the Lord and servant. This parable isn't just a story, it's a profound revelation of God's unyielding love for humanity, a love that challenges our conventional understanding of sin and judgment. Julian recounts seeing a Lord sitting in majesty, and before him a servant stands ready and eager. This servant is described as being clad in a simple garment, both ready and willing to do his Lord's bidding. The Lord looks upon him with immense love and a deep sense of pleasure, holding him precious in his sight. He entrusts the servant with a task, one that is both demanding and honorable. With complete devotion, the servant sets out immediately, his heart full of enthusiasm to fulfill his Lord's desire. However, as the servant hurries on his way, eager to please, he stumbles. He falls, not just a minor trip, but a dramatic and painful descent into a deep ditch. He is grievously injured, his body racked with pain, and his spirit filled with confusion and shame. He lies there, utterly unable to help himself, looking pitiable and helpless, seemingly ruined by his fall. From his perspective, he has failed terribly, disgraced himself, and is worthy only of blame. But what of the Lord during this time? Julian emphasizes that the Lord never, for a single moment, takes his eyes off his beloved servant. As the servant lies in his distressed state, the Lord's gaze remains fixed upon him. And critically, this gaze is not one of anger, disappointment, or condemnation. Instead, Julian states with stunning clarity that the Lord looks upon his servant with nothing but profound pity and tender love. He sees not the dirt, the injury, or the failure, but the precious, beloved servant he has always known. The Lord is not moved to blame, but to compassion, patiently waiting for his servant to recover, his love a constant, unwavering presence. Now, let's unpack the beautiful symbolism embedded in this vision. Julian makes it clear, the loving Lord is none other than God himself, our Creator, our Father, the source of all being. And the servant is each one of us, representing humanity as a whole, specifically Adam, but by extension, every individual soul. The task the servant is given is our life's journey, our purpose, our very existence in the world. And the fall into the ditch. This symbolizes our human tendency to stumble, to make mistakes, to sin, to suffer, and to feel the weight of our imperfections and failures. It is the experience of separation and despair that often accompanies our struggles. But here is the core, revolutionary message that Julian reveals: our essential nature, our substance, as she calls it, remains perfect and utterly loved in God's eyes, even when we stumble, even when we fall into the deepest despair. God, our Lord, does not see our sin as defining us. He looks asterisk through asterisk our outer actions, our mistakes, our perceived failures, to the beloved truth of who we are. His love is not conditional upon our perfect performance, but is an inherent, unchangeable aspect of his divine nature. He sees the will behind our actions, the intention, and recognizes our inherent goodness patiently and compassionately. He sees our true self, which is held safe and whole within him. This unwavering divine gaze is a powerful counterpoint to the harsh self-judgment and blame we so often inflict upon ourselves. This profound parable calls us to a radical practice of self-forgiveness and seeing ourselves with divine compassion. If God, in his infinite wisdom and love, looks upon us, his beloved servants, with nothing but pity and tenderness, never blame, then why do we so often condemn ourselves? Why do we dwell on our perceived failures and shortcomings with such relentless criticism? Julian's vision encourages us to adopt God's perspective on ourselves. It invites us to understand that our stumbles are part of the human condition, not a sign of our unworthiness. When we stumble, the parable assures us that our fundamental identity as loved children of God is never lost. We are not defined by our fall, but by the eternal love of our Lord, who patiently awaits our recovery, already seeing us whole. This means extending to ourselves the same grace, patience, and non-judgmental love that God so freely extends to us. It means understanding that the pain and shame we feel after a fall are not God's judgment, but perhaps our own, and that true healing comes from accepting the divine compassion that is always available. Julian's parable is an invitation to release the burden of self-blame and step into the radiant truth of our belovedness, knowing that in the eyes of our Lord all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Now, as we near the end of our journey through Julian's profound wisdom, you might be asking, how do I actually live this? How do I translate these beautiful, comforting truths into the messy, glorious reality of my everyday life? Julian's revelations aren't meant to be locked away in a book. They are a living invitation to a deeper, more loving relationship with the divine and with yourself. So, I've prepared a simple, practical 7-day action plan designed to gently guide you in integrating Julian's core themes into your daily rhythm. Think of it not as a rigid schedule, but as a loving experiment, a week-long exploration of divine love in action. Let's begin. For day 1 and 2, we start with a practice that grounds us in the very essence of existence, drawing directly from Julian's vision of the hazelnut. I invite you to engage in what we'll call the hazelnut practice. Each morning, or whenever you seek a moment of calm, find a small, ordinary object. It could be a pebble, a button, a paperclip, or even a hazelnut if you have one. Hold this object gently in the palm of your hand. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and reflect on the 3 profound truths Julian revealed about it, and indeed, about all of creation. First, it was made. Consider its origin, its very existence. It was brought into being. This truth expands to everything around you, and most importantly, to you. You were made. Second, it is loved. Dwell on the immense, unconditional love that sustains this tiny object, and by extension, all life. Feel the warmth of that love enveloping this object, and then allow it to envelop you. You are loved. Third, it is kept. Recognize that this object, however insignificant it may seem, is held, protected, and cherished by the divine. It is not forgotten, not abandoned. In the same way, you are kept, always, in the embrace of boundless grace. Spend a few minutes each day, for these 2 days, with your chosen object, letting these truths sink from your mind into your heart. Notice how this simple act shifts your perspective, reminding you of the sacredness in the ordinary and the constant presence of divine care. Moving into day 3 and 4, we delve into Julian's revolutionary understanding of God as our true mother, full of tender, fierce, and unwavering love. This practice is the Motherly Compassion Journal. Find a quiet moment each day for the next 2 days, perhaps in the evening, to reflect on any struggles you've faced, a moment of frustration, a feeling of inadequacy, a difficult conversation, or a persistent worry. Instead of just writing about the event itself, I want you to write about it from the perspective of an unconditionally loving and gentle mother. Imagine you are Julian's divine mother, looking down on yourself with infinite tenderness. How would this mother respond to your struggle? What words of comfort, reassurance, or guidance would she offer? There's no judgment, no blame, just pure, empathetic understanding. For example, if you felt overwhelmed by a task, your journal entry might begin, "My dearest child, I see how hard you tried today and how heavy that burden felt. Do not chastise yourself for your weariness. It is a sign of your effort. Remember, my love surrounds you, and you are never alone in your striving." This practice invites you to internalize that divine maternal gaze, allowing you to offer yourself the same profound compassion and understanding that Julian assures us is always flowing from God. As we reach day 5 and 6, we focus on Julian's most famous and perhaps most comforting assurance: "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." This is an anchor in times of uncertainty. Our practice for these 2 days is the "all shall be well" breath. This is a practice you can turn to whenever anxiety arises, when worries start to cloud your mind, or when you simply need a moment of peace. When you feel that familiar tightening in your chest or that racing of thoughts, pause. Close your eyes if you can, or simply soften your gaze. Take a slow, deep breath in, feeling your lungs expand. As you gently exhale, silently or softly repeat the mantra, "All shall be well." Repeat this 3 times. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, "All shall be well." Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, "All shall be well." Notice how this simple rhythm of breath and mantra grounds you in the present moment, inviting you to release the grip of fear and lean into the profound trust Julian discovered. It's not about ignoring challenges, but about remembering the underlying truth that divine love is at work, guiding everything towards ultimate good. And finally, on day 7, we bring together the threads of compassion and understanding with the servant's gaze. This practice draws from Julian's parable of the Lord and the servant, where the Lord sees the servant's fall not as a fault, but as an act of loving obedience and potential for growth. Today, I invite you to reflect on a recent mistake you've made, a moment where you fell short of your own expectations, or perhaps felt guilt or regret. Instead of dwelling on self-criticism, try to see yourself and that mistake through the compassionate, blameless eyes of the Lord in Julian's parable. Imagine the divine gaze resting upon you, not with judgment, but with profound understanding, forgiveness, and an unwavering belief in your inherent goodness and your ultimate journey towards wholeness. The Lord in the parable sees the servant's intent, not just the outcome. What was your intent, even if imperfectly executed? How might this experience, seen through the lens of divine love, actually be a step in your spiritual growth, a deeper learning, or an opportunity for greater compassion for yourself and others? This practice is about releasing the burden of self-condemnation and stepping into the radical acceptance and unconditional love that Julian assures us is our divine heritage. And there you have it, a week of living Julian's wisdom. As you move through these 7 days, remember that the goal isn't perfection, but presence. It's about opening your heart, even a crack, to the boundless love that Julian revealed. Carry these practices forward, adapting them, making them your own. May this week be a profound reminder that you are always, truly, deeply loved, made, and kept. All shall be well. We've journeyed together through the profound and timeless wisdom of Julian of Norwich's revelations of divine love. Now, as we draw this exploration to a close, let's distill her transformative insights into 3 powerful, memorable truths, 3 revelations that can serve as anchors in your own life, guiding your spirit and illuminating your path. These are not mere intellectual concepts. but invitations to a deeper, more loving engagement with reality itself. First, and perhaps most foundational, you are fundamentally loved and secure. This is the core message, reverberating through every line of Julian's text. Remember her vision of the hazelnut, so small, so fragile, yet held entirely in the palm of God's hand. In that tiny object, Julian saw the whole of creation, including you. It is created, loved, and preserved. This isn't a conditional love earned through merit or achievement. It is an inherent, unshakable truth of your very being. From the moment of your existence, you are cradled in a divine force that not only brought you into being, but actively, ceaselessly sustains you. This means your worth is not something you must strive for, it is given. Your security is not dependent on external circumstances. It rests in the unchanging, unwavering love of the divine. To truly grasp this is to shed the immense burden of self-doubt and fear, to walk with a quiet confidence that no matter what challenges you face, you are always irrevocably held. It means understanding that the same benevolent power that orchestrates galaxies holds your individual life with intimate care. This truth invites you to rest, to trust, and to realize that your intrinsic value is a gift, eternal and inviolable. The second truth Julian offers us is equally liberating. God's compassion is bigger than your mistakes. We are all familiar with the sting of failure, the weight of regret, the crushing burden of perceived sin and imperfection. In a world that often judges us by our shortcomings, Julian presents a radical alternative, a God whose love transcends our human frailty. She understood sin not as a barrier that severs us from the divine, but as a wound that in the grand scheme of things is part of a larger, redemptive narrative. Your falls, your failures, your moments of doubt and despair, these do not define you. They do not diminish your inherent worth or erase the fundamental love that God has for you. Instead, Julian assures us that God looks upon our struggles with profound tenderness, not condemnation. His compassion is an ocean, vast enough to encompass every error, every misstep, every moment of weakness. It is a love that seeks to heal, to restore, and to draw us closer precisely because we are imperfect. This revelation is a profound invitation to release self-recrimination, to forgive yourself, and to trust in a divine mercy that is always present, always forgiving, and always seeing beyond the temporary wound to the eternal, beloved self within. It's a call to embrace grace, not as a reward for perfection, but as an ever-flowing source of unconditional acceptance and new beginnings. Finally, and perhaps most powerfully, Julian anchors us in radical hope is your anchor. In a world fraught with uncertainty, suffering, and despair, Julian's famous declaration, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well," is not naive optimism, but a profound, unwavering trust in divine providence. This is a hope that acknowledges the darkness, that does not shy away from pain or sorrow, yet holds steadfast to an ultimate truth that beyond the immediate trials and tribulations, there is a benevolent design at work. It is a deep, abiding faith that God's love and wisdom will ultimately prevail, transforming even the most difficult experiences into something meaningful and good. This radical hope is your anchor when the storms of life threaten to capsize you. It is the deep breath you take when fear tries to overwhelm, the quiet conviction that even when things seem broken beyond repair, there is an unseen hand guiding towards restoration. To embrace this hope is to cultivate a profound trust, not just in good outcomes, but in the goodness of ultimate reality itself. It's a constant reminder that no matter how challenging the present moment, there is a larger, divine narrative unfolding in which, ultimately, all things work together for the good of those who are loved. This hope isn't a passive waiting, but an active, courageous stance of faith, allowing you to face adversity with resilience, knowing that the final chapter is written in light and love. These three truths, extracted from Julian of Norwich's profound visions, are not simply ancient wisdom. They are living, breathing principles that can transform your daily experience. You are loved, you are forgiven, and ultimately, all shall be well. Carry these truths with you, let them resonate in your heart, and allow them to illuminate your path forward. And so, we reach the close of our journey into the remarkable mind and radiant heart of Julian of Norwich, a soul whose insights, penned over 6 centuries ago, continue to resonate with a profound and timeless truth. Her revelations of divine love isn't merely a historical artifact, it is a living testament to a boundless, compassionate God, a radical vision that offers comfort, challenge, and ultimately, an unwavering hope in the face of life's deepest mysteries. We've traversed her gentle yet firm assertions of God's motherhood, her steadfast belief in the ultimate goodness of all things, and her simple yet revolutionary declaration that all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This exploration for me has been a privilege, and I sincerely hope it has offered you a fresh perspective, perhaps a moment of quiet contemplation, or even a glimmer of that divine comfort Julian herself so earnestly sought to share. But our conversation, dear listener, doesn't have to end here. In fact, I believe the true power of wisdom like Julian's lies not just in passive reception, but in active engagement, in shared discovery, and in the rich tapestry of diverse interpretations that emerge when we bring our own unique experiences to these sacred texts. This is where you come in, where the journey truly becomes a shared exploration. I'm genuinely eager to hear your reflections. Julian's writing is so rich, so multifaceted, that different aspects will inevitably speak to different hearts. So, I invite you to pause and consider which of Julian's profound ideas resonated with you the most during our time together today. Was it her radical assertion of God as our loving mother, holding us gently in the palm of her hand? Perhaps it was her courageous defiance of the prevailing doctrines of damnation, replacing fear with an all-encompassing mercy that sees no ultimate evil. Or did her unwavering certainty that all shall be well offer a particular solace in a world often fraught with uncertainty and despair? Don't hesitate to share your thoughts, your personal connections, or even your lingering questions in the comments section below. Your insights not only deepen my understanding, but also enrich this growing community, turning what could be a solitary pursuit into a vibrant, collective quest for meaning. There's immense value in seeing how these ancient truths ripple through contemporary consciousness, how they intersect with our modern lives, and how they continue to offer guidance in ways Julian herself might never have fully anticipated. Let's create a space where these ideas can truly breathe and evolve. If this video, this shared delve into Julian's wisdom, brought you a moment of peace, sparked a new thought, or simply offered a gentle respite in your day, I would be incredibly grateful if you would consider showing your support. Please like this video to help more seekers discover Julian's incredible message, and subscribe to this channel for more explorations of timeless wisdom from across traditions and centuries. By subscribing, you become an integral part of this evolving community, helping us to nurture a space dedicated to thoughtful inquiry, spiritual depth, and the shared pursuit of enduring truths. Your engagement truly helps these voices of the past reach new ears and hearts, ensuring their profound legacies continue to inspire and transform. It allows us to continue bringing these humanized narratives of spiritual giants to life, bridging the historical gap and making their teachings accessible and relevant for today's world. For those of you who feel called to delve even deeper, to experience Julian's words directly in her own inimitable voice, I've taken the liberty of linking to a recommended translation of Revelations of Divine Love in the description below for you. There are many translations available, but the one I've selected strikes a beautiful balance between scholarly accuracy and poetic accessibility, making Julian's sometimes archaic language beautifully clear without losing the spiritual gravitas of her original expression. Engaging directly with the source material is an incredibly rewarding experience. It's like stepping into a direct conversation with Julian herself, unmediated, unfiltered. This allows for a much more personal and intimate encounter with her unique theology and profound spiritual journey. I encourage you to explore it at your own pace, allowing her words to unfold within you. It's a journey that reveals new layers with each reading, truly a timeless companion for any spiritual seeker. Consider it a direct invitation from Julian, through me, to embrace her comforting vision in its purest form. Finally, as we look to the future of this channel and our ongoing quest for illumination, I'd love to hear from you about who else we should bring into this spotlight. What other spiritual teacher or classic text would you love to see humanized and explored in a similar way to our journey with Julian today? Is there another mystic whose life story and teachings call out to you? Perhaps a foundational text that you've always wanted to understand more deeply, or a spiritual tradition whose wisdom you feel deserves a gentle, accessible introduction. Your suggestions are invaluable. They directly shape the direction of our future content, ensuring that this channel remains a truly collaborative and community-driven space for shared learning and growth. Whether it's the quiet contemplation of Meister Eckhart, the passionate poetry of Rumi, the practical wisdom of the Desert Fathers, or a compelling figure from another spiritual lineage entirely, please let me know. Your input ensures we continue to explore the voices that matter most to you, deepening our collective understanding of the vast, beautiful tapestry of human spirituality. Let's build this library of wisdom together, one profound teacher and one transformative text at a time. Thank you for joining me on this particular exploration. Your presence, your attention, and your engagement make all the difference. Until our next shared journey into the heart of timeless wisdom, may Julian's gentle assurance, "All shall be well," resonate deeply within your own spirit.